if I heard that that some gang was heading toward my house to rob me, who would I call if there isn't any government police?
That's a very, very valid question. And just to be completely annoying, there is a horde coming to your house to take your property. They're just the tax collectors. So we don't have a situation where no horde is coming. Like, we're trying to get a situation where at least there's a chance of a horde not coming to take half your property, right? Because you all know you don't own your houses. You rent them from the government at 2% a year or whatever your property taxes are. So
yes, and the big holdup of April 15th is rapidly approaching.
We couldn't have timed the show any better,
right,
because
exactly.
the guy with the sheriff of Nottingham with the rusty spoon is coming to take your taxes all too soon, right? So it's a perfectly valid question and a very, very fair question. So I'll stop praising the question and actually try to start answering it. Okay. The way, and first of all, nobody knows, right? So let me just say, if I had the perfect answer as to how the future was going to work, well, I'd be a zillionaire and I'd own you all like cattle. No, I wouldn't do anything of the sort. But so nobody knows. In the same way, let me sort of rewind for a second and give you an analogy. I've used this before, but I think it's pretty effective. When people said we shouldn't have slaves, slavery is immoral, the inevitable question was, well, who's going to pick? Who's going to pick the crops? Who's going to pick the cotton? How are we going to survive? Now, if you were to say, okay, I do have an answer, actually, I do have an answer for this. So we're going to get rid of slavery. We're going to get rid of slaves. But relatively soon, do you know what's going to happen? There are going to be giant metal robot machines, half an acre wide, that are going to magically roll their way through with no horses, sometimes even with no driver. They're going to magically roll their way through all the crops. And they're going to pick them with metal arms. And people would say, well, that's insane. What are they powered by? I said, well, that's really cool. I actually know what they're powered by. They're powered by ancient, crushed down dinosaur juice. Look, people would literally look at you like you're completely insane, and from the perspective of where you were coming from, given that the internal combustion engine hadn't even been invented when this discussion was beginning, people would look at you and say, okay, don't insult my intelligence, that's just insane. Giant robot juice-fueled mechanical robots. I mean, why don't you just say magic is going to do it, right? But that is actually what happened. I mean, that is so saying, well, how's it going to work? Look, I understand that people want some kind of answer, and I'm going to do that, but whatever answer I provide is not going to be an accurate answer, because nobody knows what the choice. It's like saying, well, what's the price of Apple stock going to be in a week? Or Bitcoin? Well, I guess Bitcoin, who knows, tomorrow, like this time, 3 seconds from now. But so, first of all, I can give you an answer based upon reason and some historical precedent. But if you're going to say we can't have a free society until I get a perfect answer, you're never going to get that free society. In other words, if you're going to say, well, I can't condone the end of slavery until somebody shows me these giant combine harvesters, well, the combine harvesters don't get invented until after the end of slavery, because there's no economic incentive to do so. So I want people to be aware that this is a programmed response. And it's not invalid, and I do want to answer it, and I will. But just be aware that if you're going to wait for the future to deliver an answer before you support a free future, you will wait forever, and you will never get the freedom that you want. And waiting for the perfect answer is how the powers that be paralyze us into not really strongly advocating for change.